Hey. Come on, ye Spurs TV, coming live to you in the aftermath of the Liverpool versus Tottenham match. What a match. What a match for neutrals. I mean, for us, heartbreak at the end, but honestly, you have to be really, really nasty not to sort of feel a bit of, I don't know, compassion for for Spurs at the end of that game. But in any case, I've got you on the line with me. We are going to be taking apart the whole match, and if you just join us on the other side. In the meantime, come on, ye Spurs. Welcome back. Come on, Spurs TV here. If you're here for the first time, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, like, and share with those in your network. If you also need to get notified anytime we go live, please click on the bell button to get notified. Yes, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Welcome, Chuma. How are you?
I'm super good, thank you. I'm a bit disappointed at the result, but towards the end of the first half and second half performance, I was delighted. So,
yes, Spurs
shoots
started the game.
shoots of hope. There's a hope that kills.
I know, right? I mean, Spurs started the game really, really poorly. I mean, within 3 minutes, they were down 1 goal. In 5 minutes, they were down 2 goals. And within 15 minutes, down 3 goals. Like, this is Newcastle all over again. I was getting derisory texts from everyone, who's my friend, telling me all sorts of stuff. You're not in the meeting. Who's going to check on Soji? And all that sort of thing. And I was thinking to myself, but okay, I can say this after the game now, right? But I keep saying to myself, we can win this game. We can win this game. That's what I kept saying to myself. I did send you a text during the game saying,
you did.
Yeah, say don't be surprised if we end up winning this game 5-3.
It was the same. The thing is, I think they just knew. Pedro Porro has been caught out at that near post several times. I think somewhere along the line, they knew that if they stretched us to one side and they moved that ball, whoever was getting that had a good chance of doing something against him.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that happened. And then the second goal, it was just a case of, I'm not a football player. Played football in school a bit, stuff like that. And I remember one thing coach said to us in school. If you're defending, you should not allow your guy, the winger, cross. You should just not let him pull that ball back. And I've been going on a lot about it. There's this new system that a lot of clubs have now all decided to implement. And just before the game, one of my friends who is like a huge tactical guy named Yoma sent me a link saying, dude, Liverpool have just started. Have you noticed that they've been winning their matches? They started doing this thing that all Arsenal, City, and Brighton are doing.
Yeah.
That you guys should watch out, kind of thing. So I said, and one of the things about that system is it allows their wingers to cut balls back. They end up creating so much space for their wingers to cut. So Brighton, Arsenal, and Man City have the most cutback goals in the league. So he was like, in my mind, I said, God, please let them not be in a position where. And once I saw Diaz playing, and I was like, oh God, Diaz is playing, and Salah, both the wide guys. I said anything can happen as soon as. But it was Gakpo that got the break and cut it around. Salah he was off balance, still managed to squeeze it in.
Yeah,
I mean, the penalty. The penalty was, this is our huge criticism of Romero. I think Romero is a very good defender. I think he can, in time, become an excellent world-class defender. But the rush of blood to the head, he quickly dives. You're in your box, for God's sakes, man. you shield, you block, but you just don't dive in and just, you know, he dove in on the guy, and it was a penalty, and it was 3-0,
as clear as day at the time. But
as
I mean, so Liverpool had 4 shots on target, 4 shots for goals. I mean, that's the story of the match,
Yeah.
And okay, I mean, I've got. Please keep your comments coming in. I've got Babatunde Boluade. Oh my goodness, this guy is my classmate from way back. Oh my goodness. How are you? Thanks for joining us today. He says Tottenham were cheated by a penalty not given. Now, we'll come to the controversial decisions later on,
Yeah,
because I thought we had quite a good shot for a penalty at that point in time. Thanks for that. Keep your comments coming in. Yes. In terms of tactical, of what you might call tactical news, right? And okay, so people say that Mr. Conte had this real edge to him when it comes to setting up his sides to make them difficult to beat, right?
Yes.
Now, the stats were showing very, very clearly that in the whole of the season, we've only considered goals in the first 15 minutes, right? Possibly in 6 out of how many matches, right? I mean, sorry, and there was only about 3 or 4 matches, right? In the first 15 minutes. And even then, we'll concede 1, right? But this time round, in the last 4 or 5 matches, right, we've conceded like what? Almost 8 goals in the first 15 minutes of a match.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a coincidence that happened. I mean, obviously, there's something that's some coaches will have noticed that, look, this is what you do to these people. And if you look at all the goals, they all had a similar threat to them. If all the first few goals that were scored against us in the last 3 matches. So, there's so many things to talk about. There's people saying that, get a new coach or give Mason a chance. You had top 5 coaches. You've had world-class coaches, and you have a good stadium, and you're giving them a chance to, take the team to the next level. But you haven't seen any success as a result of it, right? But I'm pretty sure that's not quite the whole story. But from a fan's perspective, or from somebody who's looking at it from as a neutral, if you like, was that showing a bit of naivety on the side of Ryan Mason, not getting to grips with that problem of conceding early goals? I'm just putting it out there.
So I'll answer that to say this. This is my theory. This isn't gospel or anything else. This is my theory. My theory is Stellini and Mason were trying to work to change everything that Antonio Conte programmed them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Unsuccessfully for Stellini. But I think it has continued with Ryan Mason, because Ryan Mason's whole thing is, you have to understand where Ryan Mason's come from. He's a guy who played under Pochettino. And in Pochettino's book, you come out pressing. Man for man pressing. I think in a weird way, he's trying to introduce that. And by doing that, he's forgetting the basic principle. These guys have been indoctrinated into staying deep and breaking. Now you want them to press. So in that situation, you're creating this whole dichotomy where some guys want to press, some other guys are like, hey, cautious. And if you watch those games very carefully, it's the way it's in my opinion anyway, it's the way it's played out. I think the turnaround from Stellini leaving to now has been very short. I don't think any Ryan Mason ideas are in this team. All I think he's doing is working on their mentality, their motivation, and making them happy. He's only worked on man management, in my opinion. I don't think tactically he has done anything. But the problem now is the players are more or less doing what they are cued to do. And that's where you're seeing the problem. The defense is not a drilled defense. If you look at it, you can see it. It's not drilled. When the keeper passes out, I don't know why the number 6 isn't dropping deep. I don't know. All these things are things that if you watch teams that play in a certain way, that's what they do. The minute this person gets the ball, the trigger for your pressing is when the winger gets it. Tottenham are not doing any of those things, which tells me that the guy is literally playing on fumes of the previous coach, previous interim coach. And what's going to happen next is give him this week leading up to Palace. Now, this is, you say, when I say that Palace are 3-0 up, oh, dude, you said, I honestly believe give him this week. And let's see what happens next. I think certain players might drop out. I honestly believe that Eric Dyer, because of the furore surrounding him, I think Eric Dyer is going to get dropped. I honestly believe Eric Dyer is going to get dropped because, I don't know if it's Gary Neville that made the comment of he's a midfielder playing defense. And I agree. 100,000%. I've been saying it for years that Pochettino moved this guy to defensive midfield for a reason. Wanyama, when he bought him, was better. So he benched him, and the guy kept on throwing a hissy fit that I was a defender anyway. I don't know why you moved me. And all that nonsense. But in reality is, Pochettino knew why. Because Pochettino himself was a defender. Every player makes defenses nervous. Playing alongside Eric Dyer is an issue for anybody. Let
me just interrupt you for a second there, because we're talking about coaching, we're talking about comments, and we're talking about what the third team set up and all that sort of thing. And I've got this interesting comment. I mean, I've got please, wherever you're listening from, if you're listening on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, please leave your comments. Keep them coming in. I'll read them out. I'll read them all out. I promise. Okay. Right. I've got Jennifer. Jennifer says some teams can even play without a coach and not get these embarrassing results. Do you agree?
It's possible. Hello, Auntie Jen. It's possible, but it's very possible. I take her comments very well. It's just preparation. I don't know. For me, it's like I can never prove any of these things because I'll say all these things and I'll get, certain members of the Nigerian Tottenham group will come for me and say, oh, da 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 da. But it's the truth. I just feel when people are drilled, they're drilled. This time last year, we weren't complaining. We came here and we got a draw. What were we doing? We're playing defensive football and countered once or twice and we scored, right? But we kept it tight. This year now, we have no coach. Everybody complained about that defensive counter thing. So this guy and his friends are trying to move away from that. But it's quite challenging. It's quite challenging. And, you're looking at teams that have interim coaches. I look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth are playing very well. But you're forgetting their interim coach was the assistant manager. He already had the preseason. He already knew the players. Scott Parker fell out of the board. But this guy coached them the same way Scott Parker was coaching, if not better than Scott Parker. Ryan Mason hasn't had that luxury. So, I would still give him the chance at the end of the season. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, it was a bad day at the office in the first 20, 30 minutes. And it was so reminiscent of Newcastle. That it was like, my mind was like, dear Lord, if this gets to 5, I just wrote down I've resigned as a Spurs fan. I can't, it just gets to 5 now. And, but I was so pleased at the Kane goal. It showed me that, it just showed something. Fast forward to that Kane goal, it just showed something. Especially the highlight being Virgil van Dijk being laid down on his backside by
Perisic.
People, Ivan Perisic.
That was such a moment, right?
In current Spurs.
And I love the way Kane finished that off. I love how Kane finished that off,
No, he didn't mess about. There was no messing about. Some people say trap ball and places. No, man fired it straight at him, and if
honestly,
you save it, you save it.
That was very, very pleasing. That was pleasing. Now, okay, so
and I honestly think Son was on his game. I think Son was on his game. Son was just unfortunate. I think Son's game is coming back slowly, if we can say it, but it's there. He's trying to take those shots he would have taken in his prime mindset. I won't say his peak. I think Son's peak is not yet. Son is still what he is. It's just his mindset has shifted. His confidence has been dented a bit. But I could see it. Playing against Liverpool, he's not scared of playing Liverpool.
Right. So, like I was saying earlier on, right? I mean, I was saying that I actually felt we could win that game. I mean, at halftime when it was 3. I think we went 3-1 at halftime, didn't we? Right? Okay, boys coming out thinking,
Yes.
okay, I mean, look, Klopp will probably go to his guys. Look, you can't take your foot off the pedal. Watch the game. Don't be complacent and all that sort of thing, right? And I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I mean, Mason will be having a cow and basically, having to go at the guys and just say, look, keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully you have more chances, because they had a lot more chances when, I mean, later on in the first half. But there was this passage of play when we had about 3 opportunities. I think we kind of hit the bar like 3 times. I can't remember, Or
hit, we hit it. We hit
3 times. Once someone was offside.
We hit in the first half. We hit in the first half.
Right.
We hit it once in the first half. And in the second half, that's the passage you're talking about. There was the pass to Son, and Son curled it around and he hits the left hand side of Alisson's post, left hand post. Then Romero gets a ball over the top, and Romero stretches, hits it, and he hits the right side of the post, all within like 5 minutes. It was
within 5
madness.
minutes. So I mean, we did have chances to what's the word? Equalize much earlier, but for some reason it didn't happen as quickly as we expected. But then again, so here we are, we're down 3-1, right? The takeoff for Kulusevski, and so I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? We are 3-1 down. We're looking to at the least equalize, right? Why bring on someone defensive and take off someone an attacking option? What's the essence of that? Then it hit me that was to show up the space in the middle, because we were being overrun by Liverpool at that point in time.
Yes.
Right? With a view to say, give it about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll bring on Richarlison and take off Skip. So that way at least the balance will be restored. By that time, hopefully the things will have calmed down a little bit. And that was exactly what happened. So for me, that was a master stroke of a substitution, with the benefit of hindsight. Now, of course, it didn't quite work out like that in the end, given the fact that, of course, I mean, But having said that, though, I mean, this match, I didn't see Liverpool all over us. I mean, as you expect. Okay, we had that 15 minutes spell in the first half, and that was it. Apart from that, it was all us. I mean, unless I was watching a different match, maybe I'm biased. I mean, tell me.
No, the first half, I'd say the first 40 minutes, Liverpool were good. Spurs had like little drips and drabs. Then the last 5 minutes after Kane scored, I think 39th, I think it was. And that last 6 minutes plus injury time, Spurs were now trying.
Yeah.
Came out the second half, and it wasn't Tottenham flying out the gate. We actually got very
compact.
Defend, do anything in the final third. And then Spurs now started saying, okay, since you guys have slowed down, we now start moving up. And Spurs started moving up, and everything just started moving. And then the move, like you said, the substitution for Sa, I saw it instantly. I said 3-5-2, brilliant. That means you're now telling Porro and Perisic, go for it. There's something to show you. You have enough number, because the real thing is Trent Alexander-Arnold was a spare man in that midfield every time.
Yeah.
So handling their players, and they substituted as well, and they brought on Henderson. When Henderson came on, even most of my Liverpool friends were moaning, because they know exactly Henderson isn't going to add anything to them. As soon as he came on, I knew Liverpool are now chilling. They want to hold on and maybe get a break and score. So that means if you're coming on top of them, you're going to do better. And that's exactly what happened. And you could tell Van Dijk was rattled a bit as well. They were playing a very high line. If you could just get behind that high line, you were in. And Son took that pass beautifully.
That was a fantastic pass from Romero.
It was a brilliant trap. It was a brilliant trap. Brilliant pass through the lines, broke the lines, and he just took it in his stride. I love that. And then bam, under the keeper, typical Son. And I said, and I wrote in another group, I wrote down, if Liverpool score a goal before Spurs, its game is night, it's good night. If Spurs score one, this game's going to get weird. And my friend just typed in, yes, it's getting weird. And he scored, and you could just see the impetus from Spurs. Everyone was saying this could be 3-3. Liverpool are not doing anything. And lo and behold, and then one friend, I'm going to shout him out. He's a fan of the people down the road. However, I have to shout George. His name is George. If George ever gets to watch this, every game Spurs play, George trolls me or trolls Spurs fans of the group we're in. He trolls us by saying, this is the day Richarlison scores. He's been saying it for months. But today he says, I have a feeling he will score because he's an Evertonian. He's going to score against Liverpool at Anfield. And I said, George, you'll come again, leave us. And when he scored, I said, like, George, you called it. Only for that minute, it just.
I called it as well yesterday. Even though I didn't get quite.
You did. Yes, you did. You did. We all said that. If you said for us to win and Richarlison to score.
Yeah.
So that would have just been perfect. Even to draw, Richarlison score would have felt like a victory.
Absolutely, honestly, it really felt like a victory, but it wasn't to be. But I mean, what happened tomorrow today? I mean, this is the second game. Come on.
He just didn't get. This is the foreign mentality thing. This is where when you talk about foreign players in England, if that is an English player, the minute that ball lands, he hoofs it straight back out. He did a trap pass backwards. And I was like, oh my God.
On a plate. I mean, there's
nothing. I felt for him, and his teammates will roast him, deserve it. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's kind of wrecked his legacy now because a lot of people are going to send a lot of hate towards him. And Lucas is one of the nicest guys in that Tottenham. At that moment in time, he lacked football sense. When your end game, the more it's in their half, the better for you. You don't pass back to your keeper. You don't pass back to your defenders. Just kick it further forward. Let them bring it back. You send it back. And unfortunately, it just like, oh my God, it was, Jurgen Klopp tore a hamstring, I think, as well. That's kind of funny. If you're looking at funny things in a game, that was kind of funny. He tore a hamstring, like, dude, clutching himself. Like, you're like, oh, wow. But all in all, it was they won the first half. We won the second half. Unfortunately, that last-minute goal just killed us. It just, if you're taking, the takeaway is these slow starts. Ryan Mason and his coaching team. The slow starts. What are your plans? What are you guys putting in place? Like you said, I still say it. Playing Manchester United and Liverpool back to back is not easy. These are two very high energy pressing teams, and it wasn't easy for Tottenham. Crystal Palace won't be easy next week as well.
Oh no, they're not easy games. There are no easy games left. I mean, we still have Villa. We have.
However, there's them. There's Villa.
There's Leeds.
If they have time to go over video footage, they have time to. I think they can play better. I'm not. I like Mason. I don't recommend him for the full-time job. I would like Ryan Mason to actually get a job somewhere else and prove himself, and then come back to Spurs if he's ever coming back to Spurs. I want a proper manager, and I'm all in for Team Nagelsmann at the moment. That's for me. I'm more Nagelsmann than Luis Enrique or Arne Slot. Maybe Vincent Kompany is the only other person I would want outside Nagelsmann. I would go Vincent Kompany, but not Ryan Mason. But I'm happy for Ryan to see us through to the end of the season.
All right. Speaking of managers and where we are now, I mean, obviously there's a lot of speculation about who the new manager is going to be, or what. I mean, the rumor mill is, alive with all sorts of names in the bag. It's Nagelsmann today. No, it's not Nagelsmann. It's Arne Slot. It's not Slot. It's not Slot. It's Kompany. All sorts. I mean, Enrique has been interviewed. There are people they're in touch with Nagelsmann people. It's costing too much money. They have to pay compensation. All sorts of stories,
Yeah.
Now, but I mean, it's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that we're here with Ryan now. there are those who say that. I mean, and I wrote this little little piece in the group there. Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago, when someone was asking a question about do we take on Ryan Mason as a long-term coach, and I kind of sat on the fence and sort of looked at two perspectives. Okay, first perspective is this, right? Don't give Ryan the job because he doesn't have he hasn't actually coached a team for a whole season in the league, in any league for that matter, right? Even though he's obviously played in the Premier League, he's been an assistant coach. He's been he's been what second in command with was it second in command? I think it was also on the coaching staff with
Yeah, it was a coaching staff of Conte, yeah, but not under Mourinho.
And under
but
Mourinho.
not Mourinho.
Oh, wasn't under Mourinho. Okay.
No, Mourinho, he was the under coach. He was the
under
18s
coach.
coach.
Okay,
It's
right.
Conte that promoted him to like the coaching staff.
Right. So you then have him obviously come on and I mean sort of like an interim role after Mourinho got sacked, right? And then it's been part of Conte's team and it's obviously taken over. So he's not really had a clear run on any team for any length of time. So it's almost like being crisis management for him. Now, so that's experience. That's as far as experience is concerned. On the other hand, you also have the other line that look, we need somebody who can motivate the team. He's come at a time when things, I mean, are not going so well. Him being part of the story, I mean, being part of those two teams, they've not really left the club in a great shape. So it's like part of continue the same old story. But I mean, I guess the counter argument to that is that I mean he didn't have the final say in any of those decision making processes that led to those situations. So that's one. The argument for him was then that look, okay, he's new, he's fresh. Give us a fresh look. We've had all these big money stars, right? And they haven't taken us anywhere. They haven't taken us any further forward than when we had Pochettino. Pochettino took us to a couple of finals, a few semi-finals, and we Champions League, of course, Champions League and League Cup final. Even though he didn't win any of them, and we had quite a lot of semi-finals in the process as well. Now, but you also have the fact that he knows the club inside out. He knows everything about the club. He actually grew up in the club. You know, that's where he started his career. So he knows the whole place inside out. And is, like I said, is one of our own, right? So it's ideal to sort of give him a go because we can't go wrong with giving him a go, given the fact that hang on, we've had all the big money guys. They haven't done much. So what's to say that why not give why not give it to a rookie, you know, and see what happens? But the other again, one other counter argument which I forgot to mention earlier was the fact that okay, people would say that if you gave him the job, it will be the classic liver approach of pinching pennies, right, and not paying out for a manager.
Not going out to get the best.
Not going out to get the best. But I'm not sure it's a criticism that can hold ground because it's gone for the best. I mean, I think if you think about it, well, the last two coaches we had, two of the last three coaches we had, have been people who were paid at the top of the pile. I mean, Conte and Mourinho. I mean, the one low earners. I mean, probably maybe second or third in any power in the league, and that's not mean feats, you know. So I mean, maybe behind Klopp and Pep. But I mean, if not a par, you know. So it's not for lack of, and it's paid compensations in some cases to actually get them going. So to sack coaches and stuff like that. So where do you stand on this?
Okay, so I'll reply you in segments. So one of the arguments in the pro department for Ryan Mason is look at the gentleman down Seven Sisters Road. He hasn't managed any club.
Right.
He wasn't even a club legend at the club down the road. He wasn't a club legend. He was a captain, but he wasn't a legend. He now became an assistant. And he was a coach. He wasn't even assistant manager at Man City. He was just a coach. He was part of the coaching staff of an elite coach. Not much different from our Ryan. Ryan Mason captained Spurs in Europa matches, so he has captained Spurs before. Wasn't a club legend, but one of our own.
Right.
He has coached under an elite manager. What's the difference? There is no difference. It's just that when it's the Sam Allardyce joke all over again. If he was Sam Allardyce, you would have taken him more seriously as a coach. if Ryan Mason was Ryan Mason Tura, Spanish guy who is at Spurs, we would give him the job. So that's there. The second part is you're talking about the coaches Daniel Levy has hired, and he's gone for the best. Yes, he has. But in going for those two gentlemen, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, and you people all know this is where I come from. The reason I became a Spurs fan is Spurs attacked. I could have been a fan of those people down the road, but I was not a George Graham fan. I thought George Graham's football was boring, even though he had players I liked. He was boring and one-dimensional. Liverpool at that time, when I was trying to pick teams, they were even more exciting. But there was just something about Spurs and the flair. And this has been a Spurs thing. I've gone far back, watched videotapes from the 60s, 70s, and it's been there. It's in the DNA. To dare is to do. We have a certain way of playing at Tottenham. And Mauricio Pochettino understood that way. It was his way as well. That's why it worked for him. Daniel Levy has been guilty of club envy, title envy, cup envy, and he has looked at two managers who have done that for their clubs. But he did not look at how they played, how their teams. He just wants to win, which is what the fans as well want. But unfortunately, I think because of the DNA of Tottenham, bringing a reactive manager, they might win. They might not win. George Graham won a League Cup with us. But the football is horrible. And in the end, the football will kill the manager. And that's what he did. You can say he went for elite coaches, but my argument at the time of Mauricio Pochettino sacking was, yes, sack Pochettino, but go and get a better version of Pochettino, which means get a guy on Klopp, Tuchel at the time. Tuchel was there at the time. Klopp, Tuchel, those kind of guys. Those are who you bring in after Poch. Poch knew how to make us play, but those guys can win and make us play. As you see now with how Tuchel's career has progressed, how Klopp's career has progressed. Klopp, of course, was already at Liverpool, but I'm just saying you are now going for the next level. You're looking for a Pep kind of guy, a winning version of Pochettino. That's what you should have looked for. But instead, he went to get the opposite in terms of football style. And believe it or not, those gentlemen have implanted themselves in Tottenham in a certain way that has changed the DNA of the club in terms of how we play. We've forgotten how to play. Once in a while, we try to recapture it. There are still elements of Pochettino in this side because you haven't flushed all his players out. They still think like him. They still make the same kind of runs as well as when they played under Pochettino. They try as much to implement the things of these guys, but they've made us reactive. Tottenham is a proactive, front foot attacking team. Club. We're a club. That was our identity. Our identity, I believe, is lost at this moment in time, and we're seeing it reflected on the pitch. We are lost in terms of identity. Spurs could have lost a game like this 4-3 attacking, knowing that we attack from beginning to end. But now we're like, oh, we're kind of defensive, but we're not good at defending. Oh, we can attack, but we don't really attack, and we lose 4-3 and we feel bad. Losing 4-3 like this, we've lost like this before. We've lost 5-4 to Arsenal, but we didn't feel bad because we were an attacking team and we got flushed. But now we have no identity. We're neither attacking nor very defensive, which was a criticism of Conte as well.
So, I mean, moving on from that managerial situation, because obviously we're not going to resolve this either way or another, because obviously it's down to Mr. Levy to decide which way he wants to go. But I think what is very clear is that decision needs to be taken sooner rather than later from the point of view of the fans, because the fans will want a decision on that managerial situation. Because once you get that, it also brings confidence in the dressing room as well, knowing that, okay, well, it has two elements to it. It obviously brings confidence, knowing that, okay, we're going to have a new manager. It also means that players will start to play to the best of their ability, knowing that, look, if I don't play well, he might just knock me off, and so obviously that's the new manager bounce, if you like, but there's some key moments in that match which I felt, in terms of some what I call crucial decisions like should have gone in our favor, right? That didn't go in our favor, and I know that these things go round and roundabouts. I mean, we had people point to Brighton situation when they potentially had certain situations which people, a lot of pundits felt like we were very fortunate together with those decisions that went our way, but today they went the other way, and disappointing it was because here you have Richarlison in the box, and Konate actually wrestled him to the ground without touching the ball. And nothing was given.
You're in Anfield. Welcome to Anfield. Welcome to Anfield.
Honestly, that's just criminal. I'm sorry, it's how that is not given. I just don't understand. And that's exactly what Babatunde was saying earlier on. He said we were cheated by a penalty not given. Now I can't remember what the scores were at that time. Was it 3-3 at the time, or was it still 3-2?
It was 3-2. It was 3-2. He just come. Yeah, come on.
Right. So I'm pretty sure that we should have won that game today. And you have
and then there was also the opportunity that Thingy took a shot, Kulusevski, when it could have been better for him to roll it to Kane.
Yeah.
If you had rolled it to Kane, it would have been a tap in.
But that was just really, really poor. From our perspective, and we had some situations in the game as well, which I felt we just didn't do ourselves any favors in terms of.
Also, sorry to cut you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but dangerous plays a red card in the Premier League, especially when you're stuck to someone's head and it bleeds. That is a red card, whether you meant to or not. I'm sorry, my dear boy. Your boot was on his head. It broke his skin. It's a red card.
Simple. It's straight off red. Straight red.
In any other world, that's a red card.
Straight red.
It's a straight red. Whether you meant it or not. This isn't stamping on his, because imagine that same thing. If he had stamped on his ankle with his boots, that's a red. Stamping on the player's ankle or his foot with your. But you got him for everyone saw it, the camera saw it, and you didn't put a red card. I'm sorry, that was a red, and that would have changed the dynamic of the game. Liverpool with 10 men against Spurs, and Spurs on the ascendancy.
Exactly, 3-2 at the point. I was 3-2 at that point. Come on, we had that time. Anyway, this was such.
So that would have been a red card. That would have been a red card. Richarlison would have come on. Richarlison had not gotten that penalty. Kane would have dispatched that penalty, let's just say, and then you'd have had Richarlison score a winner, and that's us winning 4-3 or drawing 4-4 at worst. So you take these things, like I said, I'm just delighted at the fight. Many people online, I was on Twitter during the game. Many people online cussing out these players, cussing out Daniel Levy. I said something to you before it started, and I'm going to be here on camera saying it. I was very much ENIC and Levy out. I still think that I would like new buyers, a new perspective, a new chairman, and all that. But the level of hate and stuff, it's not for me. It's really not for me. I get where the fans are coming from, and I have so many friends that are Tottenham fans that Levy out and ENIC out. I was too, but. My goodness, at 3-0, the camera panned to him, to Donna Collin, another gentleman called Ted Klein. They're all sitting together, and they're all part of this crew that, the reports have come out that they were the ones behind Pochettino not coming back. So they are really hated right now. And I just looked at the guy, he closed his eyes when it went to 3-0. Like, they just panned him, and he just closed his eyes, like, oh my God. In my head, I said, this guy, as much as all he's done has led to this, let's just say, what can he really do? The same way I feel as a fan. What can I do at 3-0? What can I as a fan? What can I honestly do that can change this game? I can't do anything. I'm not on the pitch. So it's like,
yeah, I guess what the fans' perspective will be, it's a culmination of the decisions or choices that he's made in the past that led us to this position, in the sense that if he'd made some different decisions, but I can always say to people, like, 95% of fans have never run a business. They haven't got a clue what the dynamics are in terms of the cash flow management, the management side of
But
things to ensure that.
they don't see a football club as a business.
No,
They
no,
see
no,
it
no.
as a
What I mean, what I'm saying is this,
you know what I mean?
and I get that, but you see, the fact of the matter is that whether they see that as a business or not, it's still a business. Players still have to get paid. You know, salaries still have to be paid. You still have to pay your bills. If you run down the club into a position where they cannot pay your bills, no one will say you still bear the brunt and say they'll say you didn't manage your finances properly. Now, for me and for any club, it's the finances that form the underlying basis of any success that you may have. You know, it's how you deploy those finances, how you sort of use those resources. Okay, fine, it may not have been, but they also sort of fail to understand that. Look, there how many teams in the league? 20 teams in the league. Yes. How many teams have actually won something in that league? You can count them with one hand. You know, so it's not like anybody's birthright to win. You know, you still got to play against other people who are competing as well. So it's a level playing field from day one, and you are at a disadvantage in most cases against those people around you who are spending money like there's no tomorrow. Okay, you have this takeover coming up with Manchester United now, right? But a few weeks ago, you were hearing things like they were like what, nearly £1 billion in debt. £1 billion in debt, and they didn't build a stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, that is crazy. So, and it's going to have some sort of knock-on effect down the line if that is not properly managed. But fine, but that's another story for the future. But I'm pretty sure I want to see what's going to happen in a few years' time when things are stabilized in Tottenham, right? And the takeover doesn't go ahead in Manchester, and we'll see how seriously, and we'll see how things go. Honestly, it's because for me, I'm sick and tired of people who keep having a go at Levy and saying that it's bad for the club.
I think the solution for me, a lot of people go, you keep changing managers. I said yes, and I've been a fan of football so long that I remember clubs changing managers until you find that right guy. People don't know how many managers. Atletico Madrid. I'm a fan of Diego Simeone. I don't want him as my coach, but I like the guy. I've always found him fascinating. If like you guys always call me a football historian, there was a chairman of Atletico Madrid called Jesus Gil. He's a Jesus Gil. The guy was notorious for firing managers. Like Ron Atkinson was a manager for like 90 days. He would hire and fire
a little bit
crazy.
like the guy at Real Madrid. What's that guy's name?
And Real Madrid, exactly.
Yeah,
Perez, he just bam, 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 bam. He just keeps shooting. He would win a title, or maybe win a title, but then they went on this drought for like 14 years or something, where they didn't win anything. Atletico Madrid, they got relegated, came back, and they just kept the same thing until Diego Simeone, who was their former player when they last won the league, came back as manager. And look what happened. Once he got the job, he has been the third best team, but he has also broken the hegemony between
Madrid
and Barcelona.
Yeah, hegemony.
But for Madrid, he would also have won a couple of Champions Leagues. Madrid stabbed him, But that's the thing. And I keep saying that, yes, change it. You need to find that level 5 manager, that guy. I thought Pochettino was that guy, and I felt if they had backed him. Now, in hindsight, they are looking at it that, oh my God, even if we had squeezed out 200 million during those construction times, if we hadn't gone those windows, in hindsight, this guy could have won us something.
Absolutely.
So now your mission is to find someone like him. Someone who you can now look and say, now we know what we messed up the last time with the same kind of guy. If we get an opportunity to get that kind of guy, I see that in Nagelsmann, I see that in Company, I see that in those kind of coaches. They're just these guys that have very good visions. They're not going to win you the league the first year. But if you give them that time, and they will change the identity of your club, and it's the manager, you can shout, oh, yeah, no, the club is rotten from top to bottom. most of the directors at Atletico Madrid are still they were all the directors under Jesus Hill. Same guys. They didn't change. The same socios ran Atletico Madrid. The same socios run Real Madrid. They don't change. The chairman changes. So it's rotten. No, it's only rotten when you're losing.
Absolutely.
It's not rotten when you win. Liverpool fans are also complaining about FSG, but they're complaining muted because let's be real, FSG has won. You know, you're complaining, FSG, they're moving backlog, but you guys have won a league title. Yeah, you won a league title, you won a Champions League. You know, you've won a League Cup, you've won an FA Cup. They've completed.
They won more than one Champions League. They won a couple, didn't they? You know.
Yeah. So you got it set. So you look at it and you say, you're not really complaining. And this is the only reason Spurs fans have a problem with Daniel Levy. And it's the hugest problem is Daniel Levy did not win every year or every 2 years. If Spurs had been winning League Cups, FA Cups, Champions Leagues, nobody would care.
Yeah, and imagine all those finals that we got to. I mean, we won one of those finals.
All those things, and that was why that was my criticism of Mauricio Pochettino at the time. Was he felt he had time. He felt we'll win this next year, but let's win the league first. Let's win Champions League and we'll come back out. When it's the other way around, you win the League Cup, you win the FA Cup. That builds you to the league.
Yeah, buys you credit in the bank.
He didn't quite understand that, and now he does. You know, and as he's going to those other gentlemen across the bridge, those guys, I think he's going to go for a League Cup as quickly as he can, which is a whole switch on his thing. So the same thing. I just want Spurs to get. I think it's a manager. I think it's the right manager. And yes, move players. Even if you're giving it to Mason, this is going to be very controversial. If I give it to Mason, I have no problem. But I'll tell Mason, you know what? You're going to have to break some of your friends, their hearts. The first thing I would do if I was Ryan Mason was sell Ben Davies and sell Eric Dyer. I'll sell two of them just to let the squad know I'm serious. These are my guys. I will sell them. That instantly places him back as manager. Now they're going, oh my God, this guy is serious. I would sell those two guys straight up. Probably even sell Højbjerg as well. That just lets them know that this guy is, because right now he's still pally, he's still friends with them. You know, Dyer's been playing. Dyer should be dropped. Right now, I would go. I wrote on the group. There's a young man, Maxim Pascozzi. He plays for the Spurs under 23. He plays for Estonia senior team. He's only 18, 19 years old. He's played in a couple of preseasons for us. A very good defender that boy is. There's another guy, Charlie Sayers, left center back, 19 years old. Very good. I will promote those two boys and drop some human beings. Now we have no more really big games anymore. What's to lose out? Dyer, I think, is mentally shot. He's traumatized, in my opinion. He's traumatized as a player. He was afraid of making mistakes, so he will make mistakes. Sanchez is afraid of making mistakes. Sanchez will make mistakes. So why don't you let those two guys go? Let them be substitutes. Bring on somebody young and say, look, this is your chance to win your shirt. You know? It's a shame we sent that other Welsh gentleman to France, Rodon, because I'll play Rodon right now. I don't think Rodon will be any worse than what we have central defense.
That's again one of these things where you if it works out, you're fantastic. If it doesn't work out, you're a mug. You know,
which is exactly.
You know, so it's always a gamble with these sort of situations. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, Spurs don't spend money on players. We're going to spend money on Dembele. Look what we got. We spend money on Rochelle. So look what we got." You know,
but he did. But you know the thing, he did spend the money on Dembele, and it's to me, it's very hypocritical of certain Spurs fans. They hailed it. I was online during when they bought it. Everyone was saying, "Oh my God, they got this guy. He's going to replace Moussa Dembele." They were all, and then when he scored, you remember he scored opening game. Remember he scored against, I think it was Villa.
Yeah.
He scored that shot. Everybody was. So now for them to turn around and cost Daniel Levy for buying a waste, I think that's very hypocritical of
that's right, and which just tells you that these things I mean, and he was saying it on that interview he had at Oxford, where he said, look, football, there's always an element of a gamble in even your transfer decisions, because sometimes you get it right, a lot of times you don't get it right, you know, and so it's really very, very difficult. I mean, I'm pretty sure that no one wants as good for the club as much as he, because think of it, if he does very well, he gets the glory, you know. If he does poorly, everyone lays into him. So I mean, that's that for
So,
me. I mean,
someone wrote something about Brighton. Sorry, someone wrote something about Brighton on Twitter that I found very nice. Person wrote that, oh my God, Brighton just keep pulling off all these gems. And one guy says that stuff, yeah, it doesn't last forever. Everyone's hailing Brighton's recruitment. All it takes is maybe one or two scouts to get lured to Liverpool or Arsenal, and that's dead. The next guys can't find those guys, or something happens. He says it's not sustainable where you're always pulling out gems. You're going to get some black rocks, some things that just don't work out for you at all. But we're all hating Brighton, but also you're forgetting Brighton has in my opinion, what I call a level 5 manager. He's one of those guys that works for people, and what he's doing works well. You take him out of the equation, we never saw Esteponian play as well under Potter. There are certain players in that team that Danny Welbeck is scoring more goals under De Zerbi than he did under Potter. What does that tell you? The coaching is impeccable. The system is working. Get a guy whose system works, who can also look at the players and raise them in the right way, and you will not be complaining. That's what I want for Tottenham more than anything. And I wish Daniel Levy the same. If he's going to sell, I think he will sell at a peak price for someone else. But then, like everyone's talking about now, you get a new owner, we don't know what the new owner will do. So therein lies the other thing. We just don't know as fans what's going to happen next.
I mean, Chelsea got a new owner. They got plenty of money. They spent a lot of money, didn't they?
12th position. They're closer to relegation than they are to top 4.
And I don't even like to imagine that being Daniel Levy.
For all of them are saying the same thing. They said, but for Harry Kane's goals, Harry Kane, by the way, congratulations to him. He scored 25 goals for the 4th season in the Premier League. 4th time he's done that.
Wow.
So 25 goals for him in a team that isn't creating for him. Which just goes to tell you how amazing. He's now equal Wayne Rooney. He's on 208 goals.
208 goals in Premier League.
He's 52 goals away from Alan Shearer. Let that sink in. In a team that is creating, Harry Kane can score Erling Haaland 30 goals. That means in 2 years he could literally have overhauled Alan Shearer.
Yeah.
Which
and
we
it's
never
going to do it.
thought
And it's not going anywhere. I mean, I don't think Kane's going anywhere. I mean, I hope it doesn't go anywhere,
No. So my original point is this. People are now saying, Harry Kane has scored this goal, but for Kane's goals, we would be in the relegation places. But lo and behold, these are the same people that said he should sell him for profit. So if we had sold him now, we wouldn't have these 25 goals that kept us from relegation. So you can cuss the man out for not selling Kane. Yeah. But at the same time, you are now saying, thank God for Kane.
And then in the past, right, everyone used to say that Tottenham are the selling club, they used to be like feeder club, and he says he's not going to do that anymore. We're going to retain our key players, and he's done that. He's done that. He's made sure that all of our key players, we always keep them. We don't sell to other clubs anymore like we used to.
How annoying to have a chairman that wants to keep the best player.
Can you imagine that?
Man City don't do that. Liverpool don't do that. They all do. They all want to keep their best player. The only reason they paid Mohamed Salah King's ransom so he wouldn't leave. De Bruyne, so he wouldn't leave. Yeah, these guys, Real Madrid would snap them in a heartbeat. But they're like, no, we want you to stay. Spurs, Daniel Levy is doing what he knows what to do, which is, I need to keep the best player here. I need to keep you here or make it as difficult for you to leave as possible. And if you want to leave on the free, fine, you're giving me 1 more year. That's fine.
Keep your comments coming in. This is Come On You Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. Tottenham 3, Liverpool 4. What a match. What a match. I mean, we got undone by a moment
Brazilian.
of... I don't want to call it a moment.
Not Brazilian. You have to call out names. It was a Brazilian doing very un-Brazilian things.
I know, it's just terrible, And
after another Brazilian scored.
This was one of those days when you just sort of hold your head and shake it and say, how did we get here? How did we get to this position? But some other people will say that, look, we shouldn't have been in that position in the first place if we hadn't considered those goals as we did. But having said that, though, I'm happy, like you said earlier on, that we had that spirit, that fight, that buzz to get back into the match. And that was a really, really good display from our boys of heart and spirit. And I haven't seen us do that in a very, very long time. Of course, in the last couple of matches, we've actually displayed that. It tells us a lot about the character of the team, even though we like to say that, okay, fine, they let in a few goals the last few matches. But, I mean, to come back in the fashion that they did in this last 2 matches, I think they deserve some kudos, you know.
No, it's a lot. We've conceded now what 4 plus 6, 10, 12. We've conceded 12 goals in 3 matches. That's an average of 4. But we've also scored what 1, 3, 3.
4-2, yeah,
We've scored 7
12
goals.
goals in 3
Yeah,
matches,
yeah, yeah. We scored like 7 goals in. We scored 7 goals in 7 goals in 3 matches, and that's not bad. The real problem is there's a defensive problem with Spurs. It should be addressed.
yeah.
I don't think Ryan Mason has had the time. I think Stellini picked the wrong formation. If he had gone defensive counter in the game against Newcastle, we would have still lost, I believe, but not by that huge figure. Against Manchester United, they had their opportunities. They didn't ice us out, and we took ours very, very well. And then we decided to stay back and sure. Now, that same idea would have been perfect in this game as well. But for this one, I put it down to decision making. Lucas made a very poor decision. I'm sorry to keep calling him out, but he made a poor decision that cost us the point. In the opening part of the game, Porro, once again, defensively, Porro, that's the thing I think in this country he needs to work out. In Portugal, he didn't really need to defend like this. He played for a very good side. He played for one of their elite teams. So they are always on top of you. Spurs are not on top of anyone. So Porro defensively isn't up to scratch. And he joined a Conte to teach me how to defend team. Conte gets moved on. Stellini gets moved on. So I'm looking at the guy going, I don't know what kind of defensive instructions he's getting. But you don't get beaten at your post like that. And he's going to learn. I think he's going to be a very good player for Spurs next year. I really do. I can see the signs of it. Romero is still very rash. Romero is still more or less learning this country. He's 2 years in. I think he's even cut down a bit from what he was that first time. He was a bit wild early. He's still a bit wild now, but he's toned it down. But his decision making in his box was poor. But like I said, at this moment in time, Ryan Mason and his coaching staff are trying to reverse things, trying to learn things, and it's what's happening now. I think Spurs have written off the season. We're looking to finish as high as possible. We don't care what that is. I don't think we want to be in the Conference Cup, but if we are, we are. I'm tired of, after all, after certain Jose Mourinho won it, he made it out like it was the best thing ever. So now I'm not going to cost the competition anymore because when Mourinho won it, certain members of our Spurs nation were using it to beat the club. Now look at it, he has gone to win. So they now considered it a trophy. So if we qualify for the Conference Cup, nobody should say anything because Mourinho's won it now. Mourinho's legitimized the cup now because they were saying it was a crap cup up until Mourinho won it. When Mourinho won it,
it became not so crap, eh?
So it now became a big cup. So if we Spurs win it, it's still in our belt. It's no longer a trash competition because Mourinho. You can't have one rule for when Mourinho wins it than when Spurs are in it.
Absolutely.
So let's. Now, it's a cup, right? It's a good cup. It's a big boy cup now.
Absolutely.
So we'll go wherever we want to finish. I think we should just focus on training for the rest of the week. They should come in. They shouldn't have their heads down. They really try. They should just look at what mistakes did you make? How can we iron out these mistakes? How can we stop this thing from being the same be-all and end-all? We have a home game against Palace. It's a London derby. You have to be up for it. Palace's boys are up for it now. They are very mobile. But we've beaten them in their home when they were supposedly flying as well. We killed them. So have that in mind. Come to this next game. Look at the first 20 minutes, how we can impose ourselves on teams instead of being imposed on. And I think it's possible. I think this week will be a huge analytic week for Ryan Mason and his guys. It's just unfortunate. I wish they'd pulled off the draw. The draw would have felt like a win, same as it did against United. And it's just unfortunate that here we are, 4-3 to Liverpool. But if they told you at the start of the game that we would have scored 3 goals after that first 20 minutes, you'd have been like, nah, there's no way in hell. But here we are.
It is what it is. Thank you guys. It's been absolutely fantastic. Well done to the boys for putting up a good fight in the match, and despite going down 3-1 and nearly snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, but only then to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Snatch defeat from jaws of a draw. I know. So you just have to laugh as a Spurs fan.
Honestly,
we're so used to so many downs, and
this is why people sing "I can't do without you, Spurs."
I wrote on a funny aside. A friend of mine wrote to me that, dude, how on earth did you become a Spurs fan? And I wrote down on the group, and this made everybody laugh. I wrote, I was young, I was naive, I thought Spurs loved me. The way the woman would say, I was young, I was naive. I joined Spurs. Spurs loved me, And now I'm too invested in the relationship to break it. I can't leave now. We've been married for so long. I can't leave. There's no point. 30 years, 30 something years of Spurs. I can't leave. I can't up and leave. It's a relationship.
So if we have to have a rebuild now I know we've called out a few names, and I think one of the things would depend on what system the new manager wants to play. The
director of football first. Sorry, the director of football first, because the manager isn't going to come in unless there's a director of football. So I think that's actually what Daniel Levy is working on as well. I think they need to get DOF quickly.
Okay, so assuming you have a good DOF in, right? So which areas? I guess it again depends on what sort of system the manager wants to play. But having said that, whatever system he wants to play, there's some clear areas that need a lot of attention. Clearly, the back line probably needs a complete overhaul. However you cut it, Yes. So that back line needs a complete overhaul. Either you bring in somebody who's adaptable at the full back positions. I know Destiny Udogie is doing quite well. He was doing quite well in Udinese.
He's done excellently well.
I know he had a car crash some time ago. I don't know if that affected.
No, he came out good. He played the next game. Right. He won it too.
So he's doing quite well now. Again, we don't know that he's going to perform in the Premier League when it comes here, because who knows? The Premier League is a totally different league from other leagues. Porro was doing really fantastic in Portugal, and it's come here, and it hasn't gone quite well. A lot of people were sort of really
attacking wise. You have no complaints attacking wise about him.
No, not at all.
Brilliant passer, defensively he's a shambles.
Yeah, but it wasn't bought as an attacker, it was bought as a defender. So this is the thing.
No, it was bought as a wing back. Sorry, wing back is not a defender.
Well, a wing back also defends. You know what I'm saying? So it's with wing back, I don't mean that you can one pass you like
well, it depends on it just depends on how you play it. But most wing backs, Victor Moses, how much defending did when he played at Chelsea? Be honest, how much?
But
he didn't defend that much.
Okay, but he wasn't getting beaten. The way this guy was getting beaten, he could still put in a shift. He still put in a shift when he was required to. So a lot of wing backs do a decent job across the board. It's not entirely a new thing having wing backs.
So there has to be defensive setup. If I am so far up the pitch, your defensive midfielder slides across into that half space. Your right centre back, if it's not happening or that communication isn't there, you end up looking like a punt, which is what's happened to him.
So
communication-wise, it's been very bad. I agree defensively, but it's not. I put that blame on all those people on that right side, and that's where Romero is playing as well. There's been every time you look, they're looking who's going to take him, and then also the attacker slides in. That's what Marcus Rashford did to them. So. Yeah, as much as I want to blame him defensively, I look at the club. I don't blame him. I just think
so. Across the back line, you're probably going to get rid of that.
Center backs.
Probably need at least two solid center backs as a minimum, right?
Two solid center backs. Yes.
We probably need a left wing back.
And then offloading as well, offloading Sanchez, offloading Tanganga, and offloading Dyer. 3, getting 2 or 3. Getting 2 and getting a kid
Well, I
to
think we also need an attacking midfielder because at the moment we don't have any creative midfielder in that place at all who can. Yeah. I mean, Højbjerg did quite a job today. Actually, yeah, I thought he did really well in some situations today. I mean, he had some.
Who did?
Højbjerg, you know. Højbjerg?
No. For me, he has to go.
So, well, I guess, I mean, you know.
He's one of them. He's one of them on my list.
But I think we need a backup for Bentancur. You know, Bentancur when he got injured, just didn't have anybody else to come in and do the sort of thing that he used to do. You know, when he was there. So I think someone like that was someone I would need a backup for. I think hopefully we'll be back next season. So yeah, so that would hopefully show up that midfield side of things. And then also I think on the front line we're fine. I mean, I'm not sure we need anyone else.
Spurs attack is fine. It's just one, there was nobody to create for them, and because of how bad the defending was, they're always backwards. If you let those guys flow, you have a flowing team. My goodness, they all of them: Danjuma, Richarlison, Kane, Son, Kulusevski. They are excellent players. Someone said if you had a version of them as defenders, it would be a great team. It would be a great team. If Spurs' defense was as good as the attackers are, it would be a great side. All our attackers, barring Kulusevski, scored today. Kane scored, Son scored, Richarlison scored. That's your attacking setup, right?
Yeah, it's
so. Let me ask you this: would it have been a different outcome if Richarlison had started instead of Kulusevski, do you think?
No, I don't think so.
I know the 3 goals aside, but would he have scored earlier? Because he kind of had Konate rattled a bit.
That's true. That is true because you know there's something about Richarlison that he does for defenders. He just puts them off. He has a way of upsetting the rhythm. You know, he's a pest. You know, he was just
Konate felt it, and then I feel he would have squared that ball to Kane, not what Kulusevski did to taking that shot. I think Richarlison would have squared just so Kane would score, and then Kane would give him something back. You know, but I think I don't know. You know, it's hindsight and all, but I just think. If he had kept the same side as United, I don't know if that worked. We still have conceded yes. I don't know attacking wise it would have been a bit different, maybe, because Richarlison is more of a fighter and a pest. And Kulusevski is more elegant, maybe physically body you a bit, but I'll trouble you and I'll run with the ball. He's saying that Kulusevski has been quite decent the last 2 games. So coming back from, you know, he's not been the same since his injury.
Yeah,
really.
So I think one of the things we have to sort of think about I think Levy has to also think about is obviously getting a good manager in quickly, getting the DOF in as quickly as possible, and wherever targets that we identify, we go for them. I think those have been the main criticisms that have been leveled his way thus far. And I think again one of those things is this: the press. There's a lot going on in the press that doesn't match reality. And so I think he needs to either sack his PR team or get a better PR team to sort of get the right sort of messages out to people, because the communication has been very, very poor, you know. So he has to find a way of ensuring that the people get the right sort of messages and the right sound bites to promote the interest of the club. Not necessarily his own interest, but the interest of the club, basically, you know. Because what you're getting a lot of news stories, a lot of rumor, a lot of conjecture, and people translate those to be facts when they may not necessarily be true, you know. So that's for me. I think it's something that we also need. They also need to sort of work very, very hard at addressing in the close season. But
I agree.
Overall, final word, Chuma.
Well, it was a hard loss to take, but very encouraging signs, in my opinion, about the players and if they are up for a fight or if they're not up for a fight. And I think there are things to work on for the next game, but I'm very encouraged by them, and I think they can do far better than they have, and the results will eventually go their way. I think towards the end I'm looking at the rest of the running, and even though we've got a few challenging games, I'm looking forward to them playing them. I'm not entering them with any fear now. Liverpool was my last scary game, and results have been a result. But I think looking forward to the next game against Palace. Yeah, they have a full week to work. Let's see what happens next.
Thank you very much. In the meantime, come on, ye Spurs.